Hello everybody and welcome to the first quarterly stats video for 2024. As I said at the end of 2023, I probably wasn't going to do them monthly anymore because I think they're only of limited interest. So I'm just going to do them quarterly, and then that way there won't be so many, so I won't spend so much time making them, and for the few people that do watch them. It's a little bit late for this video to come out because I had a lot of trouble with my PC. So I switched my PC on to try and start making the video as soon as March ended. And it sort of powered on, the fans came on and everything, but nothing happened. So my first thought was that the processor had gone or something. So I bought a new processor and I popped that in there and tried it again, and the same thing happened. Still nothing was happening. So then I tried new RAM, I tried new power supply, I tried a new motherboard, and in the end, after a lot of fiddling around, I figured out that it was my motherboard that had gone. So I've now got an almost entirely new PC, but the processor I bought was faster, so hopefully I can render these videos a bit quicker now. So it's not all bad news, but yeah, that's why there's been a delay. It's taken me like over a week just to get my PC back up and running again, but it's all done now. So let's get into the stats for the first quarter of 2024. So we generated 1,159 kilowatt hours in the first quarter. We imported 3,413 kilowatt hours, and we exported just 102 kilowatt hours. So what does that mean in terms of money? Well, the total amount of energy we used in that quarter was 4,469 kilowatt hours, which is a lot. But we'll see where that went in a little bit. So if we didn't have solar or battery, we were just on a standard electricity tariff, that much energy would have cost us £1,700.71. Having solar saved us £429.71. And that's just from the energy we generated rather than having to buy. So we saved that amount of money by effectively generating that for nothing. Using our home storage battery and being on the Octopus Go tariff, or Octopus Intelligent Go tariff as it is now called, that saved us £968.07, and that's just because through the winter in particular, we charge the battery up at night using the cheap rate electricity, and that saves us having to use the expensive rate during the daytime because we're running off the batteries which we charged at night for the cheap rate. So that's the amount of money we're saving by not using the more expensive rate of electricity that's available in the day. And also, obviously, we're charging the car at night using that cheap rate as well. Being on the FIT scheme and the amount of money we get for our deemed export for the quarter earned us £164.69, which means the total cost to us for 4,469 kilowatt hours is just £331.75. £43.64 of that was the standing charge, which means the average price we paid per kilowatt hour for the first quarter of the year was just 6.45p, which is pretty good considering the nighttime cheap rate is 7.5p. That means we're doing better than running on just nighttime rate electricity, which is really, really good. So let's have a look at the pie charts. So here's the pie chart that shows of all the power that we generated in the first quarter. We managed to use 91% of it, which means that we exported 9% of it. So that's not brilliant. I'd have preferred it to be only about 5% exported, but as long as we're under 10%, we're not doing too bad. So all things considered, that's pretty good. Now let's look at the pie chart that shows where all of our generated electricity came from. It's broken down by my inverters. So yeah, the bulk of it, more than half, 58%, has come from my Solax inverter. That's a 5 kilowatt inverter. It's connected to about 5.4 kilowatts of panels. That's on my south-facing roof. And then you've got about 14% comes from my Growatt 1 kilowatt inverter. That's connected to 1200 watts of panels, also on my south-facing roof. And then we've got 21% comes from my Growatt 2 kilowatt inverter, and this is connected to about 2.8 kilowatts of panels that are mounted on my south-facing wall. And finally, you've got almost 7% coming from my shed-mounted solar, and that is connected to an off-grid inverter, which is a 5 kilowatt off-grid inverter, and that's connected to just 1 kilowatt of panels, which are on my shed roof, which are sort of south-facing, but there's quite a bit of shading on those. Okay, let's have a look at the energy mix. This shows for all the electricity that we used, where how much we paid for it effectively, whether it was cheap, expensive, free, etc. So most of the electricity, 64%, was the cheap rate that's available at night time on the Octopus Go tariff between 11:30 and 5:30 in the morning. But then there's another 9%, which is also at the same cheap rate, but that was sort of special sessions where it was available during the daytime. So if you can take advantage of it, then you can get some cheap rate available in the daytime. So I've done that in a few cases. So that means that we've got about 74% or so of the total is all cheap rate, and then 24% is free. That is just what we've generated from all the solar on the house, which means that just 2.7% was during the expensive periods, and that's because there's a few times here and there where we have to emergency charge the car, or we just forgot to charge the batteries the night before when we ran out of power partway through the day, or something like that. So it's pretty low though, 2.7% is pretty small. Okay, and the last pie chart we've got here is shows where all the power went in the house, what it was used for, and you can see we've been doing an awful lot of driving this year in the cars, and so the bulk of all of our energy is charging up the Tesla. So 55% of all that energy that we've used is just charging the car, just because we've been doing so much driving. It's still significantly cheaper than if we'd be doing the same amount of driving using petrol. So yeah, it's saving us a fortune by having the Tesla. but obviously it does push up the total amount of electricity we're using. The Leaf is another 9%, so the two cars together, 60-65% or so of all the power is just running the cars, and then we heat the hot water exclusively with electricity using the immersions. We don't ever heat the hot water with gas, and that uses up another 14% of the total is heating the hot water. So that's more than 3/4 of all the energy is just running the cars and heating the hot water. Pretty much everything else fits in the last bit, and the biggest of all of those is the gaming one at 8%. That's because my son is currently on placement year from university, so he lives at home now, and in the evenings he spends a lot of his time on his games machine. Right, let's have a look at the best day. So our best day was on the 30th of March. On that day we generated nearly 41 kilowatt hours. You can see it's a pretty good bell curve there. It's not unbroken though, because there's a lot of clouds going by. You can see where it dips right down to almost nothing and then back up to full power again. Where a cloud is coming in front of the sun. But it's amazing that we've got a day like that at all, to be honest, because pretty much since this year started, it feels like it's just rained pretty much every day since January the 1st. It's just, the beginning of this year has just been appalling. It's not great for the solar generation, but it's not great for my mental health either, because I do need a bit of sunshine, and we've just not had any. So let's have a look at the worst day. That was on the 12th of January, and on that day we generated just 0.8 kilowatt hours. And you can see, it's almost nothing there. It feels like all the days have been like that, to be honest, to me. So I'm amazed that we've generated anything at all, but there you go. Yeah, it's pretty flat, isn't it? Okay, now let's have a look at our electricity usage for every day of the quarter, broken down into half-hourly segments. If it's appearing in red, if the bars are red, that means it's expensive. That's when we've imported energy at the most expensive time. If the bars are blue, that means it's at the cheap rate. So you should see that most of the bars are blue. There's just a few occasional bits of red here and there. Like I say, usually when we run out at the end of the day because we've used too much, or because we've forgotten to charge the batteries, or we had to do some sort of an emergency charge of the car or something. But for the most part, you can see it's pretty much all blue. There's no free sessions, unfortunately. If you see any green bars in there, that would be a free session. I was hoping through the winter that Octopus might do some more of their, they did their saving session things, but I was hoping they might do some where there was a glut of energy on the grid. They might do some sessions where they give you an hour of free power to use. But unfortunately, they haven't done any of those this winter. They used to do them a while back. It was a trial thing, I think. I think they've decided to not continue with it. But yeah, it would have been nice to have a few free power hours here and there, but it wasn't to be. So that's it for the first quarter of 2024. It's been pretty good. 6.45 pence per kilowatt hour on average. That's cheaper than what's available on the night rate alone. So we're doing pretty good. It's substantially cheaper than if I'd be paying the daytime rate, which is around 30 pence a kilowatt hour, something like that. So big savings. It's still fantastic to have solar and battery storage and stuff. You know, if you can afford to get it, it is an investment, but it will pay you back, because energy prices are only going to keep going up. You know, they're not ever really going to go down. So if you invest in it now, it will pay you back. I didn't mention actually that if you take the total cost of energy that we paid for the quarter, which was £331 for the quarter for electricity, once you subtract the amount of money we earn from our FIT payments and stuff, it actually only cost us £167. So that's pretty good going. £167 for what was about over 4 megawatt hours of electricity used. I mean, that's pretty good going. So yeah, like I say, if you can afford to get yourself battery storage and solar, you know, it will pay you back. And also, yeah, in combination with Octopus Intelligent Go, if any of you out there are thinking of doing this, you know, do go on Octopus Intelligent Go. It is save you a load of money, particularly if you've got the battery storage and EVs and stuff. Do use my link. It's on the screen now. If you switch over, and we'll both get a share of £50 each off our bills. So it's something for you and something for me. But I really can recommend Octopus. They're really good, and like I say, you can see from my stats here, saving me a fortune. So yeah, that will be it for this quarter. I'll do another video at the end of was it April, May, June, end of June or early July. We should have generated a lot more by then, because obviously it's going to be the summer months when the days are much longer, and hopefully, fingers crossed, all this grey weather will naff off, and we'll have some proper days of sunshine, which will improve the results enormously. So that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Please do like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you all on the next video.